Right, so this is a thin blue line paracord bracelet. It's a viewer request, and unlike most paracord bracelets that is just a bracelet with a name, this one actually has a bit of a story. So let's set up and I'll explain. Right, so I have about 10 feet of black paracord and about 3 feet of blue paracord, which is gutted. Now, gutted paracord, all that means is that you take the inner strands out of the cord like that, and what that does is make the paracord like a tube, and it's thinner and it's easier to move as well. So there you go, that's gutted paracord. At the bottom I've done a slingstone hitch. Now if you don't know how to do that, I'll leave a card up there. And I brought the cords up through the top of the bracelet like that. Now what I'm going to do is get the left hand cord, bring it over the top, right hand cord over there like that, making a cross, underneath the 2 center cords, out the other side, and pull it up, but don't pull it tight, because I'm getting the blue paracord and I'm poking it down through the middle of the bracelet like that, and I'm leaving a good 5 or 6 inches out the end. And that's important later because you're going to use a fid if you need one. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is tighten up like that, and you can see that the blue cord is flipping up the top at the moment. Right, now all I'm going to do is bring that blue cord down. This first cord goes over the top, second cord underneath, out the other side, pull it tight and flip that blue cord up like that, and then you do it again, cobra weave over the top, and then flip that blue cord down, and you keep doing that till you get to the end. So what's the story behind the thin blue line? Well, you might be surprised to know that the thin blue line was actually the thin red line, and that was because in the Crimean War, in the Battle of Balaclava, the 93rd Highlanders, they were a Scottish regiment in the British Army. There was about 250 of them, and they held off a cavalry charge of about 2,500 Russians. And they were described in the press as a thin red line tipped with steel. So the thin red line came to mean a small force standing against overwhelming odds. So how did it turn blue? Well, in the early 1900s, the American police adopted the phrase but turned the red to blue, and it was an also visual shift in the symbolic meaning, because instead of a small force standing against overwhelming odds, it became holding the line between order and chaos. In the 1950s and 60s, really pushed the phrase into public view, and he described it as the thin blue line, which was the police standing between society and disorder. So in the early 2000s, a thin blue line flag appeared. Now, it, just like the picture, it's American flag, black and white with a blue line going down the middle. Now, some people use it to honour fallen officers. Some people use it in solidarity with the police. It's been called political, controversial, and even divisive. So, what does a thin blue line mean to you? And would you make one of these bracelets and actually give one to a police officer? Now, we're getting close to the end, as you can see. I'm going to do one more. Right, now we're going to take the bracelet off the jig, and what I'm going to do is attach my fid. And you see where it's come up like that? I'm just going to poke it down through there like that. Perhaps 3 feet of cord is a bit too much, but you definitely want about 5 or 6 inches on the end so that you can get your fid through, because what we're going to do now is poke the fid through the first couple. Oh, right, I'm going to poke. That's better. All the way through. Like that. Now I'm going to do it on the other side as well. So attach my fid. This is going to be tighter, but I'm going to poke my fid through those first 2 bits there. Come on. Yes. And then pull it out like that. And once we've done that, all I'm going to do, whoops, I keep doing that, I keep picking up my needle nose pliers instead of my scissors. Right, all we're going to do is snip and cinch close, like that. And then we're going to do the other side as well. And then we're going to do the sides. So that's a thin blue line paracord bracelet. Really easy to do. I like it because it's got an actual story behind it, instead of just a bracelet with a name. Now, would you give one of these to a police officer? Would you wear one? Let me know in the comments, and if you kind of like this new sort of video that I'm making, which is knots and knowledge, let me know in the comments, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.